You are listening to an update from Washington with the Congressman from Alabama's 1st Congressional District, Bradley Byrne. Now from our nation's capital, Congressman Byrne.
Well, welcome into this week's edition of an update from Washington. I'm Seth Morrow, joined with Congressman Bradley Byrne, and today we're going to talk about manufacturing and the impressive growth of manufacturing in southwest Alabama. Congressman, I know you recently celebrated National Manufacturing Day in Baldwin County at Quality Filters. Kind of talk about what that visit was all about.
Well, you know, we wanted to celebrate one of our great manufacturing places in southwest Alabama, and we chose Quality Filters because it really is pretty representative of the sort of manufacturing jobs we have. We think about the big companies like Austal or Airbus, but most of our manufacturing concerns are not that big. They're smaller, and they employ an awful lot of people and pay good wages. So it was really great to be there, see how they make their filters, and to meet all the people that work there and have good-paying jobs as a result.
And manufacturing has seen a pretty impressive growth, not only in southwest Alabama, but the entire state of Alabama over the last few years. What do you attribute that to?
Well, number one, I attribute it to the quality of the people that go to work in these factories. I talk to the people that run them all the time, and whether they're from Alabama or from Europe or from Asia, I hear the same thing all over the time. They say these workers are great. They come to work. They're well prepared for what they're supposed to do. They work hard, and they give us a good product. And so it's no secret that people all over the world looking at Alabama and southwest Alabama and saying, hey, that's where the great workforce is. And that we're a business-friendly area. We welcome businesses. We try to have business-friendly policies and laws and taxes and regulations. And in many other places around America, they don't have that. So they're leaving those places and coming to places like southwest Alabama, and we welcome them with open arms.
Now, I know in Congress you deal with issues that try to make business climate even more friendly for manufacturers. One of those you touched on was regulations. What efforts are being done in Washington to try to get regulations off the back of these manufacturers?
Well, one of the best examples of what we've been trying to do is this RAINS Act, because it would essentially require all of these regulations that have a big impact on our economy to be approved by Congress first. And I think the vast majority of them would not be approved by Congress. And that would keep those regulations off the backs of these private sector businesses and allow them to grow. Another thing, we were talking about it on the floor this past week, and that is making sure that we allow the energy sector in this country to be able to export their oil abroad. I think that's a small thing, seemingly, that could have as big an impact as 600,000 jobs. So everything we can do up here to get the government out of the way and empower these local business people who employ so many of our folks, we need to do that.
I know one area that you personally work on a lot, being on the Education and the Workforce Committee, is labor laws. And you have groups like OSHA and the National Labor Relations Board that are just putting burdens on not only the employers, but also the employees. Can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
the amazing thing is they say they're helping employees when they do it, but it really puts burdens on the employees in their place of business. It makes them do things they don't want to have to do, which really don't contribute anything to their safety or well-being or anything like that. But they do put a huge burden on the cost of doing business, which means it's less likely that an employer can hire more people. So every time we put another regulation out there in one of these employment or labor agencies, it just burdens a private sector employer who's less likely to hire more people. It hurts employees. It doesn't help them.
And you touched on energy. Obviously, it's very important for manufacturers to have access to affordable energy. One big issue has been the war on coal. How has that hurt manufacturers?
Well, remember, most of the power that we generate in Alabama is generated by coal-burning power plants. And every time we cause one of those plants to be transformed to something else, there's a big cost there. And that just shows up in our utility bills. And it shows up in utility bills for businesses. So if you're a steel plant where they use a lot of electricity, you ratchet up on the cost of electricity for them, and it makes their product less competitive on the international steel market.
Well, I know that you and other members of Congress will continue to work hard to support local manufacturers.
No question about it. I mean, the one thing we can do is help the people that are employing the folks in southwest Alabama and give them good wages and benefits, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Well, I think we're about out of time today, Congressman. Thank you as always, and feel free to stay in touch with our office.
You have been listening to an update from Washington with Congressman Bradley Byrne. Congressman Byrne encourages you to contact him with any comments or questions. You can email him online at byrne.house.gov or find him on Facebook under U.S. Representative Bradley Byrne. Stay tuned to this station next week for another timely report from our nation's capital. This broadcast has been pre-recorded.